So let's be together. So my work is very human. It's the idea of freedom that we have. I mean, I'll speak for myself. When I was on the path, I had a lot of ideas about liberation. You know, when I got on the path, I had a question, and the question was, what is liberation? Because I had read a lot about it, and then I started having a lot of amazing experiences along the way. But the answer to my question, what is liberation? It took 8 years before I finally got the answer. But along that way, I had a lot of ideas. We all do. And, something to do with a transcendental state or a new state of consciousness or something merging with the divine or a state of constant bliss and ecstasy that never ends. A condition where you never experience anything unpleasant or anything challenging ever again. You're always equanimous in every minute of every day. So you can probably relate to those concepts. I had them all. And we have them all because we read about that kind of stuff in books, and we get ideas from what people speak about and say, and we look at these gurus and get ideas about who they are. And maybe we have some experiences along the way, which are all, without exception, fleeting. They all come and they all go. None of those experiences ever stay, because no experience does ever stay. And so then if we're lucky, and which I was, you find after your path has been walked as much as you need to walk it, for everyone is different. For me, it was 8 very intensive years, traveling all over the world, living in India with sages and masters, meditating thousands and thousands of hours, having incredible spiritual experiences, reading every book possible. This was before like YouTube videos and all that were available. I got to the point of frustration, having done everything I possibly could. And then I met a truly great teacher, finally. I met other great sages along the way and lived with some also. But I finally met a teacher who could very easily, the first day, help me recognize something different. And that was the beginning of the end for me. And so now it's 18 years later or something like that. And, as these 18 years have passed, and I've been doing this work for 10 years, it's more and more human. There's nothing is denied in my work. Nothing is avoided. I'm not awareness or some silly stupidity like that we see. I say, maybe some of you have heard me say this before, that freedom is the natural human condition of health. That's what enlightenment is. This is the way I see it now. It doesn't deny anything. Your life, your relationships, your work, your emotions coming and going, all is fine. It's all health. It's all part of the human experience. Why deny any of it? Some spiritual paths are a big denial of the humanity, of the humanness. It's a transcendence, like you're supposed to be awareness or some silliness. But again, I say the natural human condition already is free. Along the way, we've gotten off track and become convinced that we're only limited to this body, one body mind organism. Then we get on the path and see we have to transcend this body mind organism and kill this ego. But then when you come to someone like me who can share the message of freedom, you come full circle and you see that this, what I've been trying to avoid and transcend and kill, is it. It's what I've been looking for. But now you have come full circle, and now you are in a completely different paradigm of living, which is health. That means sometimes an emotion or appears, or anything can appear, but because we're not completely fully believing we're only that, and that's so important, these things just flow by, man. Everything just flows by. For me, anything can appear and then it's gone. But the appearance of any particular thing, an emotion or a challenge. I just built this house, and it was 2 years of very, very intensive work and yelling at the workers to get them to do things. The appearance of anything like that doesn't indicate anything. What does indicate something is, how does it pass, leaving nothing after it's over? That's the natural human condition of health. Not denying and getting rid of anything, but does it flow by and leave no trace when it's gone? And that's the natural human condition, which we've gotten very far from. Because we value so much the emotions that come up and think they mean so much, and we value the experiences that happen and think they mean so much, that we get attached and hold on and propagate these things for sometimes forever. You can see it in the case of yourself. Any guilt, regrets, remorses, blames, acrimonies, judgments that you're holding on to. Somebody did you wrong. You did something wrong. And these things are following you around like luggage your whole life. Some people hold a grudge for their whole life, and blame and judge and find fault. But the healthy mind, which I say is what freedom or liberation or enlightenment is, it sees that the real value isn't in any of those things that appear. Those things are not the definition of who I am at all. The true value is your essential being, pure knowing being, freedom, which is always the case, always been the case your whole life. You haven't noticed. None of us have noticed. And when you come to know what's truly valuable, which is freedom, your essential being, pure being knowing, Sat Chit Ananda, existence knowing itself as freedom, as peace, when you know the true value, then everything can appear, but everything flows by and leaves not a trace. You see, this is what I say, a huge paradigm shift, which happens when you're ready to hear this message of freedom and embrace it. And when you're willing to embrace it, and when you're humble enough to be very, 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 very simple and not think you've gotten something or anything special, none of this at all, So when you're ready for whatever reason in your life, then you come to someone like me. I share a very simple message, and it changes something, a paradigm shift. That's the work that I do. That's the only thing I'm interested in. I'm not interested in be a guru or an advisor or control anyone or nothing, none of that stuff. I know the message of freedom. I had a fantastic teacher, and I've been doing this work myself. And I also lived with really authentic sages, people, this Jnani named Aja. He was in his 80s. I lived with him in India for a couple of years. This guy wanted nothing from anyone. He was fully blown liberated. And I saw in him, anger would appear at somebody, and then it was gone in a beaming smile of light the next second. He wanted nothing from anyone. He was free. Let me just close this. What's up here? He was free. That's what freedom is to me. Real freedom means you don't need anything from anyone. You're free. You don't need to be special. You don't need to be seen in a particular light. You don't need to have control over anyone. You don't need to be right. You don't need to win. You don't need to succeed in a great way. If you're in the position that I'm in, you don't need to have power over anyone. You don't need anyone to be your devotee. You don't need to be a guru of anyone. You don't need anything. That's freedom, you see. You can already see, you can feel that in your own self, you know. That's what I learned along my path with the people that I was with, because I was with some amazing people. And I also, of course, met a lot of people that I felt maybe not so amazing, but and that's the message that I want to impart, because it's just as true for you as it is for me. It's not for me. And it's just very ordinary for me. You know, I'm very ordinary. I made this house. I play my guitar. I make albums. I'm with my partner, Bindu. I do this work. We have 3 dogs and 3 cats and a cobra. I take care of them. It's very ordinary. What a relief too, you know, no longer exalting this concept you have in your mind that you will never meet, because it's a lie. So the good news and the ultimate joke is freedom doesn't look like Ramana Maharshi. Enlightenment doesn't look like Nisargadatta, and doesn't look like Jesus. Enlightenment looks like you. That's what it looks like, just as you are right now. That's good news, isn't it? Then nothing has to change except a paradigm shift, which is very simple. My work is very simple. And it works for people like many of you on this call who are ready, you know. And if you come to an intensive, you're going to meet a lot of people who have been on other intensives. And you're going to meet a lot of people in the Alliance and that are living this freedom. And you will see in yourself and in some other people as well. So anyway, I invite you to come to an intensive. I invite you to come to know freedom for yourself. It's yours. It's you. It's for you. It's for everyone on this call, you know. It's not for Ramana and Nisargadatta and Osho and whoever else you exalt. It's not for them. It's for you. Why not? Why? I say, why not? I've always been like that. I heard liberation was my birthright. I was like, damn straight, let's do this, man. Why not? This is your life, you know. The Buddhists encourage you to practice. I'm not denigrating Buddhism, it's beautiful, but they encourage you to practice your entire lifetime. But don't worry about enlightenment, because maybe in 20 lifetimes you're going to get enlightened. There's even some beautiful metaphors about that, you know. How the really humble person doesn't care about enlightenment in this life. They're willing to wait 20 lifetimes. What 20 lifetimes? This is it. This is your lifetime. This is now is the time for you to be free, not next lifetime, not even next year. Now. Why not?